but you were getting all relaxed, It was like, is it possible you fell asleep? And she said, yes. And
really?
Yeah. It's possible you dreamed this, isn't it, miss? Like, I guess. Yeah. It's possible.
Really?
Yeah. And so she left the witness stand, and I was like, Judge, I'm moving for a directed verdict.
All right, everybody, welcome to another great episode of Cases Gone Wild with me, your host, Jon Marko, brought to you by Marko Law. I am so excited about today's episode. We have Larry Margolis. This guy is crazy, crazy awesome, coming here all the way from Ann Arbor and Georgia. Used to work in Georgia. He's going to tell you some stories from down south of Peach State. All right, if you like the show, please give us a thumbs up, share with your friends. You can watch us on YouTube at the Marko Law YouTube channel. I had them revamp it. It's now very organized, so you can find what you need, or go to our website, markolaw.com, and click on Cases Gone Wild on all your podcasts. We're everywhere. You can listen to us on all your platforms. Larry, thanks for being on the show. Go ahead, take a sip of your wine. Don't let me...
Been a long day, John. Been a long week. You know what I mean?
I get it. Don't let me throw you off your game.
Wrong week to quit drinking.
Yeah, not today. All right, Larry Margolis. So very interesting background. I always find a lot of successful criminal defense attorneys, and I use that word successful criminal defense attorneys, which you are, I always find have colorful backgrounds generally. And you do. You went to Miami of Ohio, is that right?
That is correct.
Did you grow up in Ohio, or where'd you grow up?
I did not. Ann Arbor, Michigan, small little provincial city to your west.
West, yeah.
Yeah.
Went to Emory Law, great law school down. Where's that? Atlanta, Georgia.
ATL, yeah, ATL, Dirty South.
And that's amazing. So you were down in Georgia for how long?
So I went there in 94 or 93, finished law school sometime in 96, and then I stayed practicing until about 2007. The wife and kids moved back home. I tried a case sitting in my house that was empty. I slept on the floor with no furniture in the house. You've probably done that before, selling a house. And successful case, carjacking, kidnapping case, and then moved back home, hung my shingle in Ann Arbor, even though that's where I'm from. It was a little tough getting started. I told people it's not like I'm selling Cutco knives to my parents' friends.
Yeah.
You come back and they've had the same lawyers for 40 years.
And you've been out of the Michigan game for a while, right? You were down south for how long?
Well, I went to college in Ohio. Then I came back for a minute, did everything under the sun, worked for Senator Levin's campaign, drove a furniture truck, restaurant manager. I always knew I was going to grad school. In Ann Arbor, you grow up a Jewish kid. You don't have many options, doctor or lawyer. I didn't like the blood in hospitals, John. So I knew I was going to law school, social worker in a higher capacity.
So, yeah, as I said, colorful past for a successful criminal defense attorney. You also do civil rights. You will do some other areas of law, some injury cases, I understand. And our offices are co-counseling right now on a big civil rights case that's going to trial in a few weeks. So I'm excited about that. Maybe we can talk about that on the show today. But you're doing what? Like mostly criminal defense now? Like how would you break your practice area down?
When I started, it was a small litigation firm. I was clerking for them while I was at Emory, and I graduated, and my boss, who was my future partner, was like, doesn't seem like I can get rid of you, so I probably have to hire you. He did corporate law, and I did all the litigation that arose from that. We opened an office, a second office, a satellite office in a part of town. I don't know if you're familiar with Atlanta, Buford Highway, very ethnic corridor. So I was doing criminal defense, personal injury, and then once the laws changed, the immigration laws changed and made it very difficult for these non-citizens to continue residing in the U.S., I started doing deportation defense, criminal immigration.
Do you still do that today?
I do. It's one of the most fulfilling. It's very difficult. It's a very fulfilling part of my practice. It's sad right now what's going on. There's not a lot of defenses. I get, a couple calls, not a day, but a few calls a week, dealing with a couple cases today. These people don't have a lot of money. One, doesn't mean I don't take the cases, but there's not a lot of hope anymore. They just put them in, detention now. The new administration has changed the immigration laws, and so it's not, quote, ethical for me, I believe, to take a lot of their money when there's not much we can do for them. So most of what my immigration is the post-conviction, where I set aside old cases, old pleas, and redo the record so they are free to live their lives. Mostly green card.
Right, because you can be deported, right? For I had a client once who had a 15-year-old like retail theft, like some stupid thing.
Yep.
She had a family.
Yep.
She had was living here locally. Husband, kids in school, productive members of society. She got deported to Lebanon for a 15-year-old, like stealing a candy bar or something. I didn't realize how crazy it was.
Yep.
With that. Now look, if she was breaking into banks or something, I get it. You got to go.
Sure.
But it's crazy. So all right, well, tell us about life in Georgia. What was it like practicing down there? And you're on Cases Gone Wild, so I hope you brought some crazy cases with you.
I mean, all the cases are crazy, John. You know that. What we do is a window into people's lives, insight into their daily activities, and they asked us to come fix their problems or get them compensation. So yeah, there's a couple cases that I thought of. I'm a sequential guy, so I look at what happened when I first started. And as I said, my boss at the time couldn't get rid of me, so he had to hire me, offered me a really small salary. I think it was like $35,000. And this is 96, still small money.
Yeah.
$35,000. But I got to get half of cases that I either brought in or that he gave me solely to work on. So of course he gave me the dogs, right?
Yeah.
So,
but still, you got half.
For sure.
That's not
and
bad.
So the first case, one of the
For
first...
a hustler, you can make money.
Oh, I'm definitely a hustler. That's what we have to do. I'm sure you are. I know you are as well. So he gave me a case, kind of a dog, but it was a wrongful death case. So, anytime liability is clear or you have a deep pocket, that case is worth investigating, right? So in this case, it was an auto accident case, kind of run-of-the-mill case, not obviously for the family. An older black woman was pulling out of her driveway, and I think she got rear-ended by another young person. This is down south, deep south. South of Milledgeville, Georgia. I don't know if you know, Milledgeville used to be the capital of Georgia.
No, so tell us, where is, for us non-Georgians?
It's in the middle of the state. I don't even like to say the county that this was in because of where this story's going, okay?
Okay.
But it was south of Milledgeville. Let's just say it.
Is that deep south?
It's deep south. Yeah, anything south of Atlanta is deep south. I mean, You go over, you're in Alabama. You go to the other side, you're in North Carolina. Further down, you're in Valdosta.
You had a black client.
Black client, correct.
So, even nowadays, I look at the county, and when I'm looking at the case, and I wish it wasn't the case. I wish I could say that the same value for someone in Detroit compared to like Marquette, the Upper Peninsula.
Yep.
Unfortunately, and it's not me valuing it, but
the
insurance companies will tell you,
correct.
Your clients, what happened isn't worth as much. And
well, that's where this story's going.
Up in Marquette.
In part. That's where in part
and
this
race
story's
plays in
going.
it. They'll say it's worth less. I think that's horrible. I'm a civil rights lawyer. I know you are too. But these are things we have to fight for.
The insurance adjuster, I will skip ahead because of where you just
went.
I'm
sorry.
No.
Ahead.
I like it.
The
got insurance
time,
adjuster in this very case, said to me, Larry, and this is one of their senior guys, he says, Larry, and this is him talking, not me. He said, Larry, a colored woman or colored person just ain't worth that much that you're asking for in our county. Ain't worth the same as a white person in our county. Or down here, down south, he said. And just the way he said it, it was sitting outside his pickup truck. I'll never forget, colored person, that's what he said to me. This is 96, 97. Kind of, I was like, whoa, I'm like, sure. And
he had no qualms about it. That's,
and he wasn't, trying to be, mean or racist. He was just, in his view,
that's the way
being
it was.
real.
That's the way it was.
So this was a weird case. There was liability was cleared. Our client was just backing out of her driveway, I believe, and the other person that had gone through a light. It wasn't liability,
Nice
wasn't the issue. She was wonderful. Had 2 kids. She was a grandma, great lady. And so we go, we take the case. My boss gives it to me at the time. He's like, other person, the driver, was cited for having no proof of insurance. See what you can do. And Georgia's not like Michigan. Most states aren't with first party. So if there's no insurance, you get nothing. Okay.
Wow.
The family. Yeah. Michigan, we have first party. You likely get something. You get the assigned claims if there's no insurance that can be found. So there's usually a recovery of some sort in Michigan, limited as it may be. But so there was no insurance, and I'm going around on the phone, talking to family members, where was this, do we know anything about this driver? And they're like, no, we don't know anything. And so my boss at the time gave me really good advice. And it's advice I still go with to this day is, go down there, go to the site, go to the scene.
Yeah.
See if you can sniff around. What passes the sniff test. So we go to the scene.
Because a lot of lawyers don't. Like you see the movies like Aaron Brockovich and these, suits and stuff, and they go to the scene, they're snooping around.
Yep.
A lot of lawyers don't do that.
Of course. It was 3.5 hours away.
Yeah. They sit in their office.
Yeah.
They say, why would I need to do that?
I have no insurance. I have an older African-American woman who was retired. On those facts, the case didn't seem like it had a lot of value, right? So I go to the scene.
But if there's no insurance, why was there an insurance adjuster telling you that she
Well, I jumped ahead.
Okay, all right.
Jumped ahead. I gave it away.
All right, okay.
No insurance on the driver's. The driver was cited for had no proof of insurance.
Got it.
So we didn't believe there was insurance. So I go down there, and we're trying to, in Georgia, unlike in Michigan, you have these, we call them highway defect cases, where you can go against the state if there is some defect in the road. Michigan, we don't have that. Okay?
Yeah, we used to. I'm trying to change that right now.
Good.
We don't have that. And just so our listeners know, that means like if a light is out or a cross light, in other words, like if a traffic light malfunctions and both sides are green and a semi truck hits you, you can't sue the state for having a malfunctioning thing.
Yep.
Or they could technically have a road that goes onto a bridge that just goes off into a death pit.
Yep.
And you can't do anything. But anyways, I
digress.
digress.
No, you're exactly right.
That's
because
for another
in Georgia,
show.
you would be able to sue the state for design defects. And
Yeah.
so like a big puddle would accrue that would make people hydroplane and cause accidents. That's actionable down south. At least it was back then. You come up to Michigan, Tort Claims Act.
We used to have it.
You're not getting there.
It's BS.
Yeah.
But,
So I go down there to investigate that aspect of this case.
so you're down there saying, hey, there's no insurance against the driver who hit my client, but maybe I'm going to try to figure out a way to sue the highway commission or whatever, the Department of Transportation for designing this bad.
Correct. So we go down there, bring my camera, the old digital cameras we had back in the day.
Yeah.
Maybe even, you may have had the one like the VHS one. I was kind of a badass back then, John.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Excuse my language, everybody.
No, you're right. There's no rules on this show. So.
No rules?
No rules.
So I'm photographing it. There is a hill there. There are some sight issues, some line of sight issues. The traffic light seems to be working okay. And then don't see much. Photograph the scene, videotape the scene, and then we're coming home, or maybe it was then, or when we get back, looking at it again, we see in the side of the road there was a construction sign, like an orange, sort of yellow construction sign that had either been discarded or there was some tape. I don't remember exactly, but what it did is it told me that there was the road at the time, there was some construction going on.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, so now let's think about that for a minute. So I started doing my due diligence. I'm calling around trying to get, I was also trying to get plans for the highway, like who designed the road, okay?
So you're going deep.
I was going deep, man.
How badly hurt was your client?
No, she died. This is a death case. This is a wrongful death case. Yeah.
They killed her.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And this is, me right out of law school, first death case,
right?
Getting potentially half of the fee, trying to do justice for this family.
You're looking hard.
The kid's humping it, bro.
You're humping it.
So I'm looking at that and I was like, okay, well, let's go talk to the county. So I start making phone calls. I think this is, I don't want to say it's pre-email, but it's close to pre-email. You got to get on the phone and do your due diligence that way, right? 96? I mean, I know you're a young buck. Did we have emails in 96?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
In 96?
He's like 14 years old.
I know. He is.
So anyway, so I get on the phone and they pass me around, and lo and behold, I get a call back from the county commissioner. The one in Georgia, the county commissioner, that's a big role, especially in these small towns, okay? And so I'm talking to the county commissioner and we're just getting to know each other a little bit. And I know you're probably no different than I am. Maybe you are better, worse, mostly better probably in this respect, but you do more for people, for your client, selling the case, selling yourself, talking about everything but the case, right? You talk about football, you talk about your wives, you talk about golf, you talk about playing tennis. So he and I are just shooting the breeze for a while, getting to know each other, getting his guard down. It's late in the day. Maybe he had a beverage or not. Deep Southern drawl. And so then before the end of the call, he lets it be known that he's like, Larry, I want to tell you something. You seem like an honest guy. You seem like a good man. There actually was some insurance on that vehicle. And I was like,
what?
I was like, sir? And he's like, there was $1 million rider. We had a rider for $1 million coverage on that car. And I was like,
how did he know?
It's his county. This woman was dating a deputy sheriff.
Who, your client?
The driver.
The defendant driver.
Correct. Who was running undercover drug bus, working with the sheriff. They gave her a car so she could assist in their undercover drug sale operation.
So it was this county car or whatever?
It was insured. It wasn't a county car. It was kind of quiet, but they had a separate rider, the sheriff or the reason he told me is because he was running against the sheriff at the time. He was running for office against the sitting sheriff. So he wanted to screw over the sitting sheriff.
Oh, wow. So this is like deep South
South stuff. Yeah. So it was $1 million policy. And so that's what led to the insurance guy in the pickup truck coming to my office. And, I don't know if you do this, but it's still a style that I like to emulate today. And this is another thing my boss told me is, before you file suit, you're ready to try the case, right? And you brought what we did is we brought the insurance agent, or Mike, I almost remember his name, and we put him up in our conference room. We got bagels or probably.
This is before you filed the lawsuit.
Correct.
See, this shit would never happen nowadays.
No.
The insurance adjusters are in their homes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're working out of their basement in their pajamas and walking their dog and doing laundry and shit. Totally. I can't even get them to come to a mediation live. They bitch and moan about it. But
just like happened in our case, right?
Yeah.
Totally different time. He comes to our office in Atlanta. He was from somewhere else. He was from not in Atlanta. And so he drove over across the state. He's from Augusta. And he drove across the state, and we set him up in our conference room alone with our trial notebook. And we had our draft lawsuit. We had all of our all of our exhibits, our witness list, and we had affidavits. And this was another trick that this good friend, my ex-boss told me is we would go get affidavits from witnesses, and we'd take the statement on the scene. We'd talk to him for a little bit. And then we'd say, okay, do you mind if I take your statement? And we'd already come down with a typed up page for them to sign. And so then we would handwrite, just so you told me that my name is so-and-so, we handwrite it out on a piece of paper. And we have them initial each paragraph. And then at the end, we have them sign the typed in one. And then we type up what they wrote out. So we put all those witness statements together. We whited out some of the important stuff, or even stuff that wasn't important, to make him think it was important, right? And we sat him in that conference room, said, Mike, anything you need, just buzz that phone. The secretary will bring it to you, or come get me yourself. Here's the bagels, here's the donuts, and if you need copies, we made a separate book for you as well. Here you go. Very congenial, very gentlemanly. That's how it was down south, and I miss that. But anyway, so that was the guy.
Different world than I'm used to practicing in today.
$1 million case, or $1 million policy. We demanded limits, smoot demand, they call them down there. And if you don't respond within limits with a reasonable offer, you do get excess.
Bad faith.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's when he told me what he told me about, just, Larry, a colored woman just ain't worth the same as what a white woman would be in this county. And I was like, I don't like that.
So that was their defense?
They had coverage. They were going to say there were coverage. She was outside the scope of her duties. But I was like, yeah, she's having sex with one of your deputies, and he's giving her the car after hours to do what she wants. There was no testing done suspiciously, even though it's state law. And so you got problems here. So it was a good case. It was my first death case. I think we got half of that policy.
Did you have to file the lawsuit?
We did not.
Yeah. So you settled.
We did not.
The moral of that story, I think there's a couple morals at least that I took out of it. Number one, you were hungry, right? So,
Quite.
I
still am, but
yeah, me too.
I just had better energy back then.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe a little thinner.
Yeah.
Better hair.
Yeah. Better and more. But, that says a lot, because I've taken a lot of cases that are other people's seconds, thirds, where they said, I don't want to go dig. I'm not going to do the extra work. You did, and you got the difference in that case between nothing. Most other attorneys would have got, what, zero. They would have taken. They said, no insurance, go on to the next one. You were hungry, and then you put in the work, right? I mean, it's a lot of work to go down to the scene. It's a lot of work to pick up the phone and talk to the county commissioner. It's a lot of work to investigate. It's a lot of work to put that stuff together. It's a lot of work to get to the adjuster. So, I mean, those are the two big keys that I see, I think, to success. The two most important things when they say, what's the secret? Yeah, natural talent's good. Yeah, all that other shit. Two most important things is, are you hungry? And are you going to put in the work?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, I love taking cases that other lawyers think are cockapoo, as they say, full of shit, or that are not worth anything.
Yeah.
Ian and I just settled a big boy that two lawyers had turned down. And then the referring attorney was like, I can't do anything with this. We got close to $4 million on that case. Yeah, this year. Yeah.
Wow.
Woman crossing a crosswalk in the middle of the night or when it's very dark. No illumination on, no lights on her, no outside the crosswalk. Doesn't see her hat's pulled over her head.
A lot of lawyers wouldn't take that case.
Well, they didn't take that case, but this is where I felt like some of my criminal defense stuff came in pretty good, is because I was looking at the police report and I saw the THC levels in his blood.
Who, the driver?
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, of the van. He wasn't cited. They did field sobriety. They did roadside. 0-0 on the BAC, but he had...
Was he stoned to the bone?
I mean, it was pretty high. His limits were... So, in Michigan, it's per se, but they also don't charge in a lot of counties, right? Like Washtenaw, unless there's an accident, back then they didn't. And the officer was an idiot. I deposed him. I was like, so you're telling me if this guy admitted to you that he smoked the strongest blunt of his life immediately before driving 20 minutes across the city, you wouldn't have arrested him? He's like, yep, that's right. And I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, pretty good. It was a good depo.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fun. I had a case where an older lady fell at an Airbnb. 5 lawyers. She was from Ohio. She's like, I had 5 lawyers look at this case. Nobody wanted anything. She was an 86-year-old woman, goes to an Airbnb. I went up to that scene. That's another key to that. So I was like, it's a slip and fall, right? Slip and fall's hard in Michigan. It's easier now, but back then the law was,
really tough,
it was really tough. And I still remember that case. What a nice lady she was. And so I go up to the Airbnb and I take pictures, and I'm looking around, and I was like, whoa, there's like been some recent landscaping done up here, So it turned out that my photos, when I got back, and I knew it at the time, but I like to get back and ruminate over that for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go back and I'm looking on my computer, and I'm like, whoa, you can see the water just flowing down. And so what happened was the landscaping diverted the water, and it flowed down underneath one of the big paved stones that they had, making the stone loose, or the big slate rock. So when she stepped on one corner, it went up like this. She fell, broke her hip, surgery.
Oh, bad. That's bad.
Yeah, $250.
Yeah.
5 lawyers walked on that case.
And I've had a lot of cases like that
Love
too.
it.
That's
Love
the
it.
way to go. So tell me about your criminal stuff, because all of these criminal cases can be just insanity. Like, I feel like you criminal lawyers have some of the craziest cases.
I mean, they overcharge. People tend to get what's coming to them too. And so my job as a criminal defense attorney is kind of just usually try to find the middle ground. Yes, they charge people that are innocent, but that's rare, and that's fun to have those cases. I have a case right now, not that you wanted to talk about this one. I don't even really want to talk about it because it's still pending, but the guy pushed a button to buy what he thought was normal porn, right? And that led to, he paid $30 to buy access to some pornography that he thought was just legitimate, young, but not underage young.
Yeah.
And it led his name to go to a PayPal search warrant return in a different state was investigating a big child pornography ring. And as part of that investigation, PayPal return showed all these purchases made from all over the country. So what does the officers in the main investigation state do? They notify the people in the jurisdictions if they can determine where they're from. The guy makes one purchase. What happens? A year and a half later, he has, like SWAT team-like people at his door, 6 a.m, pounding on the door, ARs, AKs, gun at his kid's head. He had no idea why they're there. They search his computers. There's nothing on his computers, no child pornography. He's facing these charges. It is amazing and awful what they can do to us. You got to be careful in this day and
that's
age.
horrible.
Yeah. So that one's still going. I mean, I've had some interesting trials. Obviously, I love the criminal work. It's harder and harder with some of these petty and difficult to work with prosecutors, especially the younger ones and whatnot. And it's Michigan's a law and order state, as you know from our civil rights work that we do together. We lock up more people for longer periods of time than most places in the country. And you think Michigan, Ann Arbor liberal, Grosse Pointe liberal, or whatever. No, the rest of the state's not liberal, at least on sentencing laws. Michigan's one of the only states that still has mandatory minimums. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Tell me about some of the crazy cases that you've had.
I mean, I've had some fun ones too. I love, trying cases when you have nothing to lose. I had a child in Georgia. We call it child molestation case. Here, it's a child CSC case where a young woman was in a nail salon, and I've used to represent a lot of Vietnamese.
So CSC is
criminal sexual conduct,
right?
Yeah, like a rape or a touching or an unlawful assaultive sexual assault. And so she complained. This was a troubled child. She was 15, 16. She was troubled, using a little bit at that age too. And so she made allegations to her mom, who went to the police, that this Vietnamese, this strange person.
That they were in a nail salon?
It's up in Bay City. Yeah, you can read about it.
Google it. Bay City.
Yeah, well,
All right, so they were so let's set the scene here. So your client was a nail tech?
He was a nail tech, correct, which is very common in the Vietnamese ethnic group. And so
up in Bay City.
It was many years ago, so I think we're beyond the statute of limitations for anything. I'm kidding. And he was accused of improperly touching this 15 or 16-year-old young woman.
Now, during a nail session?
Correct. And
he's like painting the nails?
it was either painting or cleaning. I think it was cleaning her nails. And so
I didn't know you clean the nails.
Yeah.
Okay, cleaning the nails in the salon.
Correct. And they also give massages.
At the nail salon?
They do that. Nail salons give massages, feet massage, foot massage, back massage a little bit while they're resting in the chair. Yes, that's what they do.
Okay, I didn't know that.
They relax you.
Are you sure that they
I'm
do
pretty
that?
sure of this,
Okay.
John. I
All
used to actually own a nail salon in
You-
Atlanta.
Okay, see, I do.
Part owner. Yeah,
Of
because
a
of our
nail
office on
and
Beaufort
did they
Highway.
give massages at your nail salon?
You know, I was sort of a silent owner there.
Okay, did
Yeah.
you get massages at the nail salon?
I don't want to go that far right now.
All right. So this nail salon, your guy is a guy.
Yeah, Larry, Mr. Margolis, I didn't touch her. I don't know why she's saying that. It's an open store. And excuse me, I'm not trying to be.
Wasn't there other people in the nail
There
salon?
were, but the partition, the rooms are kind of partitioned off a little bit. The window on the outside, because of the sun, they put this curtain down. Apparently, not always. It's not a full place all the time. This might have been later in the day. Her mother dropped her off, and also picked her up. And they walked out and paid for it without complaining, by the way, which was obviously helpful to our defense.
So what did she say happened at this nail salon?
She said that while she's waiting for her nails to dry, or while he was rubbing her shoulders, that he relaxed her a lot, and that he reached into her shirt and squeezed her breast and pinched her nipples, and then said that he came up, he was massaging her legs because he had done her feet, her toes, and that while they were drying, he was just rubbing her legs, and that he reached inside and put his hand around her pubic area. It wasn't a first, so it was not a first. I know that. So she didn't claim that he entered her.
Penetration.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Now I haven't had a lot of massage cases, and these allegations happen a lot. All right, now, and I've had some where they actually happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
For sure.
because it's just although a nail salon's a little bit different. Normally, my massage cases involve somebody disrobing, right?
Yep.
They get naked, then they get on the massage table,
Yep.
and then they have a massage which involves having
Touching
to touch
anyway, yeah.
all around your body, and the allegations is that the touching went too far.
Yep.
I've never had a nail salon touch, which is a little different. So, and a little harder, I think, to believe, because in a massage case, it's in a room. It's always dark, right? They put on the candles and all that shit. And I mean, it's like the place where there'd be an opportunity to potentially get away with that behavior,
Sure.
right? You know what I mean?
And this guy had actually pled guilty, by the way, now that I'm thinking about it, or no contest, because he was afraid of going to prison. But he hired me because of my post-conviction immigration. He was being deported
Oh, wow.
for this. Yes,
Wow,
yes. That's how I got
wow.
this case, which is very common for my Vietnamese clientele in Atlanta, and I still have some that were brought up here. And I was like, why'd you plead guilty? And on the transcript itself, you can see him denying it, saying that he just pled guilty or he pled no contest because he was afraid of going to prison. So it was a pretty easy one to get set aside.
Yeah.
But then instead of working with me, like they often do in these cases where, okay, I got to set aside, now work with me, give me a good deal, give me something non-deportable, reckless conduct, disorderly, something like that. They're like, no, Larry, this is a local girl, 15, 16-year-old girl in the community. He's going to go back to prison. I got him out of jail. He was in custody when I had the case.
So what happened?
So we go to trial, and it was an interesting case. I'd never tried a case up in Bay County. Have you been up there?
Yeah, I tried a case.
Hooters across the water. Remember that?
I don't remember the Hooters across the water.
I just heard about it. I didn't go there a lot.
Yeah, sure. I was in Bay City. I had like a 3-week federal trial.
Nice.
So I was in, and we stayed at a big house. We got a huge house, and it was like $200 a night or
right
something.
on the water, probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's real. It was real nice.
It's kind of cool up there.
It was kind of cool, yeah.
It was about a 3 or 4 day trial.
So you have to try the
I
post-conviction
have to try.
thing?
Well, no, the post-conviction, I won. The judge is like, Margolis is right on this. He seems to understand he was kind of ragging on the prosecutor a little bit. He was a young prosecutor at that time. And so the judge is like, I'm not going to have this on my record. We're going to either get a new trial or you guys work this out.
So your guy got a new trial.
He got a new trial. I got him out on bond.
Okay.
Once I got it set aside, they gave him a bond, which was nice. And then we went to trial. I couldn't get a deal. I couldn't work out a deal that would involve not being deported. And so we had to ramp it up and go to trial. And it was kind of a fun case. It was, like most trials, criminal defense cases, you want a lot of women on your jury, right?
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes, because women seem, I don't want to generalize, but they are very sympathetic. They're historically less likely to throw people, in jail.
I didn't know
to convict. Yeah, you always want women.
I mean, I don't do criminal defense.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, you probably want women on your jury in plaintiffs' cases.
It depends. I'd say it depends. I mean, I hate to make super generalizations on my plaintiff's cases. It depends the type of case, where it is. I think some cases, females can be better as a generalization. Some cases, they may be worse. I've had cases where like it's sexual harassment or something, and they're like, I would have never done that. Or they judge and say, I would have never done that.
Yeah.
So it depends.
For sure.
That's a famous lawyer words, but it definitely depends. But I didn't know that about criminal defense.
Definitely. You want to stack them with women.
Really?
Stack them with women, yes. And the prosecutor wants white young males.
Old white guys?
Old white guys, sorry.
Yeah, old white guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, generally old white guys
like
are bad on...
my age old, like 45 and above old.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
50 is best, yeah. So anyway, we go to trial, and it was a fun case now in retrospect because...
Where is this? Bay City Circuit Court?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't remember the name of the judge, but he kind of had fun with this trial too. He hated to admit it. And it was like pretty much an all-female jury. I mean, there may have been one guy on the jury. And during the case, like I was able to show that, like, I was cross-examining the girl, and I was very nice. I'm not going to be rude to a child or a young adult, but right. I was like, is it possible you just don't remember? She's like, no, it's pretty clear. I still remember. I was like, well, is it but you were getting all relaxed, It was like you already testified that he was doing this to relax you, and that you were very relaxed. And, I was like, was it relaxed? And she's like, yeah, I was like, is it possible you fell asleep? And she said, yes. And
really?
Yeah. She said, yes. And then I went one more, don't ask the question you never know the answer to, but whatever. You don't always follow your own advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, it's possible you dreamed this, isn't it, miss? Like, I guess, yeah, it's possible.
Really?
Yeah. And so she left the witness stand, and I was like, Judge, I'm moving for a directed verdict, because she was last witness anyway. And, she said it's possible that it didn't happen and it was all a dream. How can this case go forward?
On a criminal...
sexual assault.
Yeah, beyond a reasonable doubt.
Correct.
If she fell asleep.
She admitted that it's possible she was asleep and dreamed the whole thing.
Yeah.
I thought I was a winner.
And what did the judge say?
Overrule, continue, no, deny.
What did the jury say?
So I didn't put up any evidence. My client didn't testify. He didn't speak English anyway. And they acquitted.
Really?
Not guilty pretty quickly. And so, of course, I go to talk to the jury afterward.
Yeah.
And all the women. And we had been, not smiling. Yeah, I'm very friendly, probably like you are with jurors. You don't want to be some impersonal robot, right?
Yeah.
You, good morning, hello, smile, hello,
Yeah.
And so I did that. So I already knew I had this jury, right? Or they liked me or didn't hate me. How's that?
They didn't hate you.
Yeah, I didn't know if they loved my client or whatever. But I knew that they were... And I knew they were kind of getting bored of this case. And I also knew...
Well, if they're bored... So in a civil case, if the jury looks really bored, it's bad for me.
Correct.
It's bad for the plaintiff.
Yep.
Is the same thing in a criminal case? If the jury's bored, is it bad for the prosecution?
Well, same thing. It's bad for the plaintiff, the prosecutor. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because they're like, you're wasting my time.
Yeah.
Why am I here?
Yeah.
This is stupid.
Yep.
Type. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing in civil. A bored jury is a bad jury.
For sure.
Because it's you're not doing your job, and they're thinking, why am I here?
Yep.
Let's get this over with.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
this is my last advice that I took, or my last lesson that I learned from this case. So I go talk with them outside the courthouse. I want to know the good, the bad, the ugly. How can I do better? What did I do well? What did I do poorly? Help me get better. And so they're like, Larry, you did okay. You did fine. You did great. The girl was awful. She couldn't remember important details. Then she's asleep. We're like, are you serious?
Yeah.
You know? And so we just wanted to get out of here. And I said, oh, okay. She's like, and the last thing, I don't want to tell you what we said or what we were interested in, or what we were most concerned about every morning that we showed up. And I was like, what are you talking about? I want to know everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. She's like, we were most interested in what your tie was going to look like that day. And I said, that is exactly what I want my jurors to be thinking about. Because they were all like thinking like, oh, the lawyer's going to be mad at me for not paying attention to the case and not doing my civic duty. And I was like, no, fuck that. I want them to be thinking about what tie I'm wearing.
Well,
know?
Did you wear like crazy ties?
I mean, I was wearing interesting ties back then, John. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even that crazy. Just like fun, fancy. It wasn't crazy ties, but just, I was trying to look good for them. This is Bay City. That's, it's not the fashion capital of the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so the Ann Arbor guy comes in with a little pizzazz or something,
Wow.
Yeah. So that was fun.
So you kind of saved your guy's life, huh?
Totally.
Well, why didn't the prosecutor drop the case after the complaining witness said that she might have been asleep and been dreaming the whole thing? I mean, you don't want to put somebody in jail or prison for a dream.
I agree.
I mean,
I wondered the same thing. I said the same thing in my directed verdict motion. I think he got back up and said Margolis was confusing her. And it's just
confusing her. She said she could have fell asleep.
I know, but he maybe was intimidating her, or she was going along. This young person was just trying to make Mr. Margolis happy and was going along with what he was saying.
But if she's doing that, she could be trying to make happy the prosecutor.
That's what I said in response.
Or the police, or the judge.
Correct. Yeah, they didn't have her mother testify, which was something that hurt them. I remember in that case.
Did she sue the salon?
Did he? Did my guy?
No.
Oh, did she?
Did she?
No, she didn't.
Yeah, most of those cases.
She paid for the thing too. I was like, you get touched and you're complaining and you actually paid and tipped.
Yeah,
but
I mean, she tipped too?
Yes.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
The paying is, I mean.
Yeah, people do their thing.
People do it, especially if they're startled. I've represented a lot of sexual assault victims, including at masseuses and stuff. Never a nail salon, but they do weird things sometimes because they're disheveled, they're discombobulated.
For sure.
They are processing. The problem that we have in the civil cases is a lot of time there's no insurance, or the salon says, well, yeah, our masseuse might have sexually assaulted you, but we're not responsible for that.
Outside the scope
of his job.
Yep.
So, which is always challenging. And then, we've had some cases that were bad. Like this one guy, molested 15 women, and he kept doing it over and over at this salon in Birmingham too.
Good plaintiff's case.
It was, but there's no insurance.
Yeah, they're not covering that.
So it's like, all these women were abused. It's horrible. But there's always two sides to the story, right? So now you gave an example of, that gone too far. You ever see the tanning salon where they put a little camera and watch the?
No, I like those cases. I'd love to get one of those cases. I have not. Have you?
I mean, I have had some.
Yeah.
But I always think when I'm looking and I'm getting my big ass out in the booth, I'm like, yeah, have fun with what you're seeing here.
You don't need to tan, John.
No, I don't that
it's
much.
Not good
except
for your skin.
In the winter, I'll do it a couple times.
You want to keep pretty.
I feel good.
No, it makes your skin.
I think I get
you're alive,
seasonal
vibrant.
depression. When you don't get any sun and it's dreary in the winter.
My wife said that for several years.
Yeah, I mean, you
seasonal
just
depression.
get.
I'm kidding. Just kidding. She's wonderful. I love her.
You just get. It's kind of rough in the winters.
Yeah,
so it's good.
Why we go down south?
And I get real pale.
You ski?
I have a really bad ankle, so I can only ski for a day, and then it's
anybody we can sue?
No, just the tennis court and.
You play tennis? We didn't even talk about this. It's not a law thing.
And my genetics,
so you don't play anymore.
Very rarely.
I love tennis.
And now I have bad shoulders. It's genetics, man. Okay. I can't sue my dad. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
So, all right. So tell me about, you told me about some other cases. You had a bully case? What's this case about, this bully case?
So I had a bully case, really sad. This was passed over by several lawyers. They came to me. This was a 14-year-old boy who was had been complaining for years about, he was a heavier kid, right? And so people that's brutal. The whole 5th to 8th, 9th grade thing. So maybe it was 13. 5th to 8th grade for some folks. That's the bullying period. He had been bullied at different schools to some degree for many, many years. And so the family
bad bullying or like normal stuff?
Normal stuff, but not addressed. Not, parents don't know how to handle that. The dads are like, you need to toughen up. The moms are like, stay home from school. It was very confusing for this kid. And it wasn't like he was, threatening to hurt himself, but it was a problem. And so, but I mean, that's just in the past. I didn't know about any of that until they came to me because they said he was assaulted during wrestling. And nobody took this case, and he had been beat in the butt or hit and beat up, and they had spanked him, and so it doesn't sound like a great case, right? And I'm like, yeah, well, I'll look into this. Sure, I'm still hungry, right? Not too long after I'd moved back to Michigan, and so
is the kid hurt or no?
Not really.
Yeah.
And so I interview him, and I get into the case, talk to the family, get a little bit of the history, get the school records, and I get to know the kid better and better. And it turns out that they didn't just assault, like spank him. They did something called checking his oil.
Who is they?
The fellow wrestling team members.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like not a good wrestler, but his family thought it would be
like good for him.
Good for him to be on the wrestling team.
That's sad.
It's really sad.
But what's checking the oil?
What do you think?
Insertion of something?
Finger in the butt.
Who stuck their finger in his butt?
Fellow wrestlers.
And what did they do with it?
Just did it to abuse him.
Inside the butt?
Yes.
Oh, that's gross.
It's awful.
That's too far.
All of it's too far, and that's way over the top.
That's way over the top. No, look, I know. Look,
yeah.
No bullying is good. I think that there's always going to be, as in life, there's always going to be some people that try to take advantage or abuse other people. I mean, that's in your workplace, in your school, and with some of these kids, it's way too far. It should never be acceptable. But I think there's always going to be some of it. I was maybe at sometimes a bully, and I was maybe bullied sometimes too when I was a kid.
Sure, me too.
And looking back, none of it was okay.
But becoming physical like that, putting a finger.
That is for sure a bridge too far. I mean,
and they still were denying liability. And so,
who did you sue? The school
district.
Very hard cases.
Impossible.
Very hard.
Immunity.
Cases. Yeah.
Yes. And so they were like, and I got to know the lawyer on the other side pretty well, guy out of Troy, senior partner, really good guy. And so
What firm were they with?
He's the named partner in one of those firms.
Yeah.
Troy.
Yeah.
You would know this guy.
Yeah.
But it's
a
long time ago. I can tell you if you need to know. But he'll remember me because we got to know each other in this case pretty well. And I think I did file suit in this case because I seem to recall there had been depositions, or I don't recall exactly, but what it came down to, what won this case for me, was the fact that the site of where it occurred, it wasn't, like, how can we protect this guy, all the time, 24/7? Kids are going to be kids. They're going to take matters into their own hands.
Yeah.
And I was like, I get that. But here's the thing. The gym where they were at was like some distance from the school proper. So they allowed this kid to be, knowing that he was being bullied. Mom had gone and complained to the principal, the superintendent of the district, warning that he was getting abused on the wrestling team. Okay, so I had good notice of the bullying going on.
It wasn't like this came out of nowhere.
No, it wasn't a one and done.
Yeah.
What
school district was it?
It was down. It could be confidential. It was in South. I can tell you afterward.
All right.
Yeah.
Like a rural district?
It was a rural district.
It always is.
It
always is.
I know.
It always is.
So anyway, so it turned out that the wrestling gym, or the gym, was like a good 100 yards, 100 feet from the school proper. And knowing that this kid was being abused, they sent him or let him go down with all the other kids unsupervised. No teachers, no coaches, nothing there. And when he went down there, the coach is like, I'll be down there in a minute or whatever. I'm sitting here finishing my classwork, or because, the coach is also a school teacher probably too. I don't remember that fact exactly, but he wasn't there.
Yeah.
And the kids beat the crap out of him, held him down, and like one or
That's
two
a messed
people
up thing to
checked
do,
his
too.
oil. I never even heard that term.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
don't
never
forget
got
that- I don't
bullied or
forget
bullied
that
anybody
term.
like that. I can tell
Yeah.
you that right now. Like,
Not like that.
that was, we
Yeah.
were just like, roughhousing.
Yeah.
And, you'd say mean things, and I'd get mean things said to me. I mean, it was.
Yeah, no physical injury, right? Emotional. I mean, he wasn't injured. They didn't, put.
But that's messed up.
It was awful. It was awful. And what's crazy is that the other attorneys didn't get that fact. Okay.
What do you mean they didn't get it?
He didn't tell his parents. I don't believe he told his parents that fact. It was only with our getting to know each other in my small little office. His parents, I was like, you guys go walk around, that he was able to open up to me and told me about it. And I was like, didn't believe it at first. I was like, well, hold on a second. Did you tell this to everybody else? He's like, I don't think so. And then he's like, then he used the term. I was like, what does that mean? And he's like, that's what they were saying, that they're going to check my oil. And they threatened to do it, and then they did it. And I was like, holy shit, man. I know. I felt so sorry for this kid,
I hope you guys resolve the case.
6 figures.
Yeah, good.
On a bully case that 3 lawyers turned down against a sovereign immunity school district.
Yeah, I mean,
not bad.
That's horrible, though. I mean, that is gonna mess somebody up. That's like the University of Michigan case. It's even worse in some ways because, that University of Michigan cases where that doctor was doing it to the kids, but he was doing it under the auspices of medical care. This is like forced. That's really
And those
sick.
were college kids mostly, or older kids. This guy was 13, 14 at the time.
Not that any of it's good, but that's really sick.
Yeah.
That's really sick. Some of the stuff that you see, it's crazy.
I know.
If somebody did that to one of my kids, I'd go absolutely
Beat
ballistic.
the crap or get,
Yeah, I'd be going ballistic.
They were very upset. I think they pulled him from the school district, obviously. But
we've seen a lot. We have a lot of school cases right now. They're so hard because the school has so much immunity. But I have a lot of like sex abuse cases where like the teacher is abusing the kids.
So that's a failure to protect.
But they're so hard,
Title IX.
Like we have a case right now where the special ed teacher was having sex with the special ed kids in front of other kids. She was like getting and without getting too explicit, like publicly banging one of the kids in front of the other kids.
Yeah.
Buying them booze and stuff. And these kids are special needs. Right? So like, they're like, I thought, she loved me and all this stuff. And, the school district's like, yeah, that's not our problem. We're not responsible. It's like, dude, this is your teacher.
Yeah. Those Title IX cases are tough. I mean,
that's why I was on Dr. Phil. He had me down on Dr. Phil to talk about these. We have one up north, Bay. It's going to be in Bay City again. But
federal, right?
In federal court, right? And I love Bay City, and I love the people of Bay City. I just don't love Bay City federal court.
It's a conservative jurisdiction.
I'll tell you what.
For plaintiffs,
yeah, it's
sure.
very difficult.
Yeah, but they won't like that one.
No, they won't.
Yeah.
But the teacher was having sex with a 5th grader and taking advantage of him and stuff.
Yeah.
And
if they knew and she was kept on, I think that's a good case, John.
Well, her defense is that he came on to her.
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
A fifth grader.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. But
he was charged, I assume?
No, she was charged.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. She was convicted of like immoral purposes of a minor or something.
Costing.
Yeah, it was like the lesser offense or whatever.
5-year offense.
So what about our trial? So we're going to be going to trial in a couple weeks here.
Can't wait to see the Marko man, Markolicious in action.
This is a crazy case. Fun. I mean, this is a messed up case. Well, it's messed up.
It captures, what's, wrong in our healthcare, in the way we lock people up and the way we treat them. It encompasses so much private prison healthcare, for-profit healthcare when it should be taken.
It's all about the money, man.
It should be a guaranteed right, and we're letting prisoners get tax dollars taken away from their healthcare so it can profit from a private company. It's awful. That goes bankrupt.
Yeah. putting profits over people.
Yep, profits over people. Thank you for using that. That was mine. I think I patented that.
Well, that's mine. You stole that from me then.
I don't know.
I've been using that for
Ian.
a long.
Ian doesn't lie about this.
All right. So our case is
you've been using it because I told you that's what the case was.
No, dude, I've been using that for a long time.
Anyway. Yeah.
I stole that from Jeffrey Fider.
Okay.
It was cash over kids and profits over
people.
people.
It's the Pinto case, right? Our case is you can save money by denying health care, even though you're going to be facing more lawsuits, more litigation.
Yeah. It is the Pinto case.
Yeah.
The Ford Pinto, for our younger viewers, is when Ford designed a car that they knew when it got hit in a certain way was going to literally explode. And the actuaries did
cost
calculations, right? And said, it will cost us more money to fix this car than it will to just let some cars explode and kill people and pay the settlements and defend the lawsuits. And so they literally said, we'll let people die and because it'll save us money in the long run. And this case is like that because there's this company, Horizon Healthcare, which is a disgusting, despicable bottom. I don't know how these people live with themselves. Company that was getting, I think their contract with the state of Michigan was like $750 million or so.
5 years. Yep.
In taxpayer money. And they were supposed to provide healthcare services to the prison. So when you get locked up and you go to prison,
you're at their mercy.
You can't go see your doctor. You can't go call your family care physician or your other doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
but it costs money. If you have to have specialized care, if you have cancer and you need treatments or you need to get a colostomy reversal, that costs money. That's going to cost the healthcare provider money. So let's find a way.
The more they denied surgeries, the more they denied care, the more money they made, which is disgusting.
That's your money and my money and everybody else's money in Michigan. That's taxpayer money.
That's right.
It's awful.
That's awful.
Well, we'll see.
They were stealing that money. Now, tell them what happened to Cochise.
So he was an inmate who had the need for a procedure, a surgical procedure. They knew that it was something that was required to be done the minute he became, or that he went into the prison system. And instead of allowing him to get the reversal, which is a relatively common...
Well, just so they know, he had a colostomy bag.
Correct. Which
means you're shitting out of a hole in your stomach.
Yeah, so, I didn't want to use those words, but I'm glad you did. Yes.
I mean, that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
And
big stoma. It attaches to the stoma.
Yeah. You wear a bag
mm-hmm.
in like a pouch that you have taped to your body, and then you can't control your bowels. You just automatically poop and fart into this bag that's literally hanging off of your body, and the bag would leak and feces would go out everywhere. You have to empty it. They wouldn't give him bags, so he'd have to like go over to the sink or the toilet,
wash it out,
and open up this poop bag that's hanging off of him, put it in the toilet, wash it out, and then reconnect it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, horrible. He'd like try to exercise, and the bag would come loose, and shit would feces would spray all over him.
Alienated him from other prisoners, other inmates. He
was like a leper.
Correct. And we don't see this anymore in society. You used to see those bags a lot because that was a common way to do that. But now it's very common to get the surgery to get it reversed.
Yeah, they fix it.
Yes.
He had a temporary, and the doctor said to him, Mr. Jackson, I got to put this bag on. 6 weeks, we're going to take it off. You're going to be good as new.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened? He goes to MDOC.
Didn't take it off.
No. And they said, yeah, this is going to be too much money. So, and it was like $800 or some bullshit. It might even be cheaper than that. I think it might have been like, after Medicare reductions, like $300.
Yeah, they refused. Said it wasn't necessary. Quality of life issue. He'll be fine. And then the minute he gets out, the federal government or the government still pays for it.
Yeah.
So long as they didn't, the private contractor
The private contractor didn't. The taxpayers had to pay for it anyways at the end.
Yep.
So this guy had to live for 2 years in prison?
Almost, yep.
He was getting beaten up because nobody wanted to be around him because he smelled because of his feces bag. It was disgusting. I mean, look, being in prison is not fun. Okay.
Mm-mm.
It's a horrible thing to do. The only thing worse than being in prison is being in prison with a bag of shit attached to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they have this company make money and laugh all the way to the bank is horrible.
And go bankrupt.
Yeah, they're horrible. So, all right, we got one more. You got you said you had some defamation case or something.
One more? Oh. Yeah, I once sued a church.
Dude, that's horrible.
I know, but I was talking to like a Jewish friend of mine. He's like, "Oh, that's a mitzvah."
What's a mitzvah?
What's a mitzvah is a good deed.
Okay.
Yeah. When a Jewish person sues a church, I was like, that's ridiculous. You don't need to say it like that. But I thought it was funny at the time.
So what happened?
So these really nice folks came into my office, very religious, very, hardworking, church-going folks who were being, they said, excommunicated from their church. And I was like, what's that mean? But I mean, I kind of knew what it meant.
Yeah.
And
but you can't sue a church for being excommunicated.
no, you cannot.
Churches have that
ecclesiastical immunity.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I had never known what that really was or meant
Yeah.
until this case.
Because I represented once a very nice lady out of a Greek Orthodox church out in New York
Yeah.
who was wrongfully terminated from her job and everything. And now normally, look, if you're wrongfully terminated,
Yep.
it's a straight up case.
Elliot Larson, Title VII.
Yeah, they had the New York human rights
Yeah.
laws and all this stuff,
Not with the church.
but not with the church, right?
separated from church and state, at least before it used to be.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I think it's churches, if it's a religious decision, they have absolute immunity, right?
Pretty much, correct.
So-
and this was me trying to sue a pastor for statements that he made during a sermon.
Okay.
I mean,
dude.
that's like, am I the dumbest lawyer of all time thinking I could get around ecclesiastical immunity from a pastor who's speaking in a sermon, right? And I had them all recorded, by the way, because they kept them, people record these things nowadays. So I had them.
So I think that's a loser in this life.
Loser big
and
time.
the next life.
Big time. So yeah, I take on these cases sometimes just because I love my clients. Jerry Spence, have you met Jerry?
Yeah, Jerry would always say, take the case based on the client.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good because I did the trial lawyers college back in the day, the weekends.
By the way, R.I.P., rest in peace. God bless you, Jerry Spence. Great guy.
When did Jerry die?
Oh, he died. Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, weeks ago.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I need to reach
He
out
wasn't
to
in good health.
his
But
son.
yeah, you should. He's a
What's his
legend.
son? Robert? What's his son's name?
I never met him. So,
Yeah.
all right. So what
So I
happened?
met Jerry down there. Well, I was going to go to that comment about love your client. And so when Feiger was on trial, Jerry represented Feiger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Fishman represented Venn.
Yeah.
And so I had just moved back, right? This is 09, 08, right? That was when it was, maybe 2010. It was probably 08, I think. And so I came up. I wanted to see Jerry, show my support, see his son. And so I was like, I went in. I went to a couple of those. And Fishman was amazing.
Yeah.
Jerry was getting older.
Everybody said this.
Yeah, Fishman was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so I met Venn. That's where I met Venn. That's where I met Jeff, Jeffrey, or whatever you want to call him. And they were all gracious, and I was like, so I went up a couple times to watch, and I was like, next time I come, I'll bring Zingerman's, from Ann Arbor, Zingerman's.
Yeah.
And so I went, finally, I was like, I hadn't talked to Jerry yet because he was either running around or whatever. And so I went up and I was like, Jerry, good to see you. I was like, Larry Margolis, we met in Atlanta or at not even Atlanta. It was like in the mountains, Tallulah College or whatever it was. It was the weekend warrior college thing. He's like, oh, Larry, he had that deep voice. I remember you, he's towering figure, right? And I was like, any advice, for a younger, not so young lawyer? And he grabbed me with his, grizzly size man hands, both of them, cups me. He's like, love your client, Larry.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, right on,
Yeah.
Jerry. And
He would pump you up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I got that church case because I loved my clients, I think. I mean, I took it on because they were such wonderful they had spent, thousands, probably tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, like over 40 years with this church.
Yeah.
The pastor whose dad was, and I'm not going to name this one either quite yet.
Yeah.
But the dad was their original pastor. Then he died. And then the son became it recently. They're small churches. These are community churches. They get to have like internecine fighting amongst the families.
Yeah.
You know how these things go. And so they didn't like the pastor, and the pastor didn't like them. That was obvious. That was evident. There were factions that were developed. It's like a high school, you know? And so there was a robbery. And
at the church?
At the church, and vandalism that occurred at the church. And what does the pastor do? He points the fingers at 4 congregants who he thinks may have had something to do with the criminality.
In the middle of a sermon?
During a sermon. And the police come to, he doesn't name them, by the way. This was a case.
He doesn't name them?
He never named them. The
cause
of action was defamation by implication.
I didn't even know that.
Who knew there was such a cause of action?
I didn't know that.
Yes,
that existed.
It's a common law cause of action, defamation by implication. And so I brought suit, and my theory is that he had orchestrated this robbery so as to have my clients targeted as the people that committed.
No way. That's complex. So that he basically had the robbery done himself.
Correct. There was an insurance claim.
Made an insurance claim. Did they steal like chalices or something? Was this like, or is this just?
It was equipment. I think they damaged recording equipment. I think that it was obvious though, because there was money that was left untouched. Right? There was like the safe wasn't bothered.
Job.
That was our claim.
This is crazy. And then
that was our claim.
And then he blamed your people so
by
he could get them out of the church.
The 4 aggrieved members that aren't happy with his role, their close family members have been congregants. So, I mean, it was obvious to us who he was talking about.
That's a crazy
So people
case.
started shunning us, our clients. You see, do you do the same thing? Us. We become our clients. I do that. You know, sometimes I do it over the top in criminal cases. Prosecutors are like, really, Larry? Seriously? Am I boring you, John?
No.
It's late in the day. I know. I'm just getting started, bro. That wine.
I know.
There was one.
So tell me what happened.
So it gets pretty contested. The pastor was a real a-hole, young, brash, big congregation, had a little money. There was a decent insurance policy that was defending under a reservation. Right? Or maybe they were just defending it to do, and I think they either threatened or they did file motions for summary. They didn't file it by the time we got it resolved. But I remember that they sent the insurance company sent this whole young gun attorney to. I took the deposition of the pastor, right? And they sent, it wasn't like the main partner. Tell you who that was too. You know this guy for sure. Another Troy defense. They're the biggest church defense group in the state. And he's a nice guy. He's kind of a hard ass, the name partner. Again, I'll tell you after this. But he sent down his little young gun who was just objecting to everything and was really rude and personal with me. And like it got heated in that deposition to such an extent that I've saved the transcript from that deposition because it has me quoted as saying, if you want to go outside and settle this like a fucking real man, let's go.
And what did he say?
Shut the fuck up. Let's keep going. It was the ugliest, most unprofessional. That was unprofessional of me. Right? I've never done that. And I felt really bad. But at the same time, this guy was getting in my face, just being, very personalized about the whole thing. And I remember this was a fun thing that I did at the deposition where, just simple questions. This is where like simple questions, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get into. Like, and I remember you objected yesterday or in that deposition where he asked about where'd you go to high school or whatever, right? In that deposition, like, why is that relevant? So I asked, just my startup questions. Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to high school? It's getting to know the other side, the defendant. And so where'd you go to college? You went to Cleary or whatever. Okay. Did you get a degree? Yep, associate's degree. Okay. And something about the way he said it, I didn't really believe him. Okay. So what do I do?
Your BS detector went off.
So yeah, just his hesitation. Just about the simple question of, did you get a degree? Okay. Yeah. So what do? third-party request for documents to Cleary College for the transcripts. No objection. Turns out he withdrew early. No degree awarded. What happens next? Request to admit. Boom. Please admit that what you stated was false under oath. Please admit that you never got this. Please admit that you never got that. They had nowhere to go with it. Okay? Ended up getting the case resolved, probably in part due to his, if you're going to lie about something as stupid as whether or not you got a degree, an associate's degree.
He didn't need to do that.
He didn't need to do that.
He didn't need to do that.
If you're going to lie about the little stuff, you're lying about the robbery.
That's right.
Got the case settled.
All right, I'll just tell you, because, I do a lot of religious rights cases.
Okay.
I represent
Badass.
a lot of religious freedom cases.
God is good, John.
God is good. My dad's a theologian. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, Catholic theologian.
I'm kind of Bill Maher on this stuff right now, by the way.
That's okay. My dad's a Catholic theologian.
Nice.
So, but I'll tell you my one church case real quick. And then I'm being told I need to cut it. So it's like this small church in Detroit. When I say small, like real small, right? Like
20 people.
Yeah. And it's called like...
Which every other house in Detroit is, by the way, for the exemption, is a church.
And it's called like the International Church of Brotherhood of
the
Saints.
Assembly of God.
I'm not kidding. The name is probably like 50 words. It's like the International Church of the Brotherhood of the brother of the brother of
Holy
the
Redeemer
hood,
of John.
the Holy Redeemer. Yeah. And then it has like the third at the end, right? And so this church had a church van. The church vans, the pastor's was elderly, and her son was kind of a troublemaker. She gives the son the church van to like go and like, do some stuff. He ends up one day taking the church van. He gets drunk. He is drinking some, what's that drink you put in?
Mad Dog 2020?
No, scissor, like Lil Wayne says. You sip on some scissor. It's cough syrup with codeine and gin and juice, I think.
Nice.
Something like that. So they're mixing these up, and he goes to meet this guy, and they're sitting on the stoop, and they're drinking that, and they're smoking some blunts and stuff. So, and the church van's there. So he has the church van. And then he has to go pick up people from the church later, by the way, to like go like move them around, because a lot of these older people can't get to church. So you can't make this shit up. So they're sitting outside smoking a blunt and sipping on the scissor. So they get into some dispute over something stupid. I don't know what it is. They don't know what it is. They don't remember. And the guy gets in the church van and drives it up onto the stoop and runs my guy over. Like, drives this freaking church van over my guy. Ouch. Like, maims him.
Oof.
Like, really maimed. So then we had the claim, because it was the church van, the insurance was through the church, right? And they have this special insurance called like Brotherhood Insurance or something.
Yep. Brotherhood Mutual.
Brotherhood Mutual, insurance company, which insures all these churches. That's my church story. All right, everybody, a big thanks to Larry Margolis for coming on the show today. It was a crazy show with a lot of crazy and interesting, wild topics today. Please come and visit us on our website, markolaw.com. Give us a call, 313-777-7777. If you or anybody you know needs help, we'll get you hooked up with Larry. We'll make sure that you can get taken care of. We'll see you in another 2 weeks on another Cases Gone Wild.